Good morning, Anaheim. Well, coming from my country, I should say bonjour, Anaheim. I must say I'm really very happy to be here. Well, I'm more than happy. I'm really proud. I'm proud because my relationship with LinkedIn started 3 years ago with a meeting with Nicolas Mirail. So Nicolas, if you're watching, I say hello to you. And this guy, that was just after I was promoted head of talent acquisition for the L'Oréal Group. And I had this meeting in Paris with Nicolas. And the guy spoke to me about impression, and I went, well, okay. Then he talked to me about TBI and CMI, and I was feeling, And then I heard words such as work with us, and then sponsored status updates, and that's when I wanted to leave the room. But there were some free candies, and I'm crazy about candies. Now, my LinkedIn account manager is David. David, stop taking pictures of me. He's in the room, and I wish sometimes he would like me to challenge him a bit less. Let's start with a trip back in time. So this is an ad from the beginning of the last century in France, a sort of early streaming service. Instead of downloading songs, you could pay a monthly subscription and then lend and borrow music sheets. Sometimes what we think as being new is old. And this is where I wanted to start the conversation with you. Everything is about cycles. This one, so exactly 80 years ago, the February 1935 issue of Everyday Science and Mechanics ran millions of gadgets as its cover story. Its message, Americans spend more than 100 million a year on gadgets, made in the US alone. You Americans love gadgets, huh? Here is the field of invention and unlimited new business possibilities always open to the ingenious. Today, we live in a world where connected objects, the new kind of gadgets, are part of our everyday life. Back to our beauty industry. 80 years ago, L'Oréal created this advertisement for beard coloration, an innovative product and ad for a so-called girly company. Today, beards are back. Another cycle. I won't go too deep into that one, otherwise you are all going to fall asleep. But see what I mean? You can see that technological advancement is all about cycles. Cycles of innovation and mutation that shape the future. Here is another interesting one from our beauty industry, complex beauty industry. On the left is an ad from the 50s, a timeless image of a woman in front of her mirror. But the message it conveys is new. Beauty isn't about what the other think. Beauty is about what you think of yourself. It shows the confidence beauty can give you. Fast forward 6 decades to our major innovation from last year, the Makeup Genius app. A new mirror for the 21st century woman, a digital one that time, that makes her confident in the choices she makes. Downloaded by more than 15 million people on the App Store, #1 on the App Store during the month of its launch. So here, we have a new cycle, where in some ways, nothing has changed, and in other ways, everything has changed. Let's have a look at the app.
Oh my God! That Oh my.
Oh, it's exciting, isn't it?
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
What?
That's amazing.
Oh, smoky bronze look. It just moves with your face though, doesn't it?
This be the mirror in my house. I like this. How does it know where my lips are?
Give me everything to make me look like Blake Lively.
There I am! With red lipstick.
Oh, I could look like pure reds. Oh, wow.
You've got to go for the golden. Oh, my cheekbones! This is going to revolutionize my Instagram account. And I love a red lip. Ooh, that is amazing. I love this color.
Looks really real. This is amazing.
So let's do bold, smoky eye look.
This is fab. The lipstick is moving with my mouth and I know that I don't have any on. Oh my God, you can literally choose any color.
Glam bronze duo. That's nice, it gives me a bit more contouring.
I can never do flicks, so I'm going to go for the Superliner Blackbuster. It's like Amy Winehouse flicks, it's brilliant. I can't stop looking at myself.
Is that the perfect selfie? If I do say so myself.
I can buy this. I want it. I want the BB cream right now. Done.
I'm actually going to start wearing a red glossy lip. This has shown me that I can afford to get away with it.
I always think you can get a dark lip wrong, but this app shows me that you can get it right.
How many of you have played with this app in the room? Oh, we still have some work to do in the US, I guess. Okay. Now I want to share my own personal cycle with you. So this is from 1996. That's me, age 27, when I just launched one of the first candidate portal in France. I guess you don't all read French, but what I was saying here is internet is nice to share company values, but it's very complicated because we have too many resumes. Today, I'm in charge of the same topic, digitizing the recruitment process for the #1 cosmetics industry in the world. Thankfully, this time, I have LinkedIn. Once again, we are in the midst of a major phase of disruption, this time digital, the start of another cycle. So how do we integrate mutation? How do we learn from discomfort? And how do we decide to be a game changer? It's about seeing things differently. Look at those two. One represents the old way of doing business, heavy, slow, not good for change. The other one shows the new way, adapting to circumstances and embracing change in an ever-changing world. New ways of doing business mean we are looking for new employees. Thanks to EY for this image, there is no longer one profile, one set of competencies. Cycles have driven us to look for much more agile profiles to tackle the expectation of the young generation and to drive change management inside our organizations for a much more flexible, collaborative, and connected way of working. To recruit new profiles, you need new, disruptive methods. And this is what gave us the idea of riding the selfie wave, which is actually a cycle of its own. Might be the trend of the moment, but it is not a new idea. This one was taken in 1920. Only one thing has changed. Our devices are lighter. How many of you have only one device on you? Okay, you all have 1, 2, 3 of them, and it allows us to communicate every second of the day. Here is an example of a modern selfie. This is from our recruiter campaign, and this is our CEO, Jean-Paul Agon, with newly hired CDO, Lubomira Rocher. You might think it's just for fun, but we use this trend to create an entire engaging campaign for our recruiters. Who are you proud of? Who is your best catch in the recent years, months? How can the selfie help us build employee engagement? How do we speak to our candidates with that kind of campaign? Leverage EVP, leverage costs, and leverage candidate engagement. Now it's time for me to give the floor to Zvi Goldfarb, the head of our digital lab, the guy who taught me everything I know about digital, making me think I'm 27 again. Zvi?
Thank you. Hello, Anaheim. Thank you, Frederic. Ready? Yeah. This is Alan Turing. Alan Turing was a genius, a major contributor to computer science theories. He and his team also broke the German Enigma code during World War II. But in addition to all of this, Alan was a master. Alan was a master in avoiding sameness. He and his team were using unconventional techniques in order to break the German Enigma code. He was using unconventional techniques to assemble an elite team of code breakers by creating memorable experiences. Yes, a bizarre combination of words. In January 1942, this crossroad puzzle was published in the London Daily Telegraph, inviting anyone, and the emphasis is on anyone, who can solve it in less than 12 minutes to apply for a mystery position, which was in Alan's team. By reaching out to the widest net audience possible, and yes, there is a correlation between solving crossroad puzzles and breaking codes, Alan was able to find Joan Clark, which became a very close friend, but was an extremely, extremely gifted code breaker. And given the bias of that time, she would have been probably overlooked for the role of a code breaker. To start our roller coaster of memorable experiences, what I want is to do a small exercise with all of you. So since we're all in HR, we're supposed to be pretty good negotiators. So what I want you to do is to take your both hands, or raise up your hands, please, and on a scale of 10 fingers, kindly rate your negotiation skills, but as a child. So 0 is 0 cookies before bedtime. 10 is a lot of cookies before bedtime hour. So can we see? We had some really good negotiators. I had some really good negotiators. That's a negotiation childhood self-selfie. All right. And now, I want you to think about the following question. If you could text, tweet, Snapchat your childhood self, what would you say? If you give an advice to your childhood self regarding your negotiation skills, what would you say? We have some answers for you in a lovely, lovely mosaic. Sorry, Anaheim. This is San Francisco this time.
What does inspiration mean to you? What's your greatest struggle? And how are you planning on overcoming it? If you could give one piece of advice to your childhood self, what would it be?
Do not be afraid to fail. Because if you're afraid to fail, then you will not try things. When I was in high school, I played basketball, and I was fortunate enough to win a state championship. But there were like 300 schools that didn't. So most of the time, we always fail.
Having my marriage fail and then my job kind of crumble, like all in like about a 3-month period. So I learned how to let go, when it's time to let go, and how to be brave. And I learned that, you know, I'm gonna be all right no matter what.
Be more open to things that you don't necessarily know about. I would never imagine that I would be in a ballet class, you know? And my mom forced me into a ballet class. I would never know about the level of creativity it takes to be a ballet dancer and how much respect I give to them now.
My biggest struggle today is being HIV positive. Keep hope alive and just keep on being happy. Don't worry. Life is good. It's what you make of it. Days of sickness and pain, through the storm and through the night. I pray to God that everything will be all right.
Keep your crazy identity that you feel you have to hide, the one that can be naughty but isn't really naughty but is told you're naughty, and don't let yourself feel bad about it.
Yeah, stay true to yourself, but also like keep a good eye on the world. If you stay too true, you're just gonna become a homeless guy. Because I'm a musician, you know, I have to stay true. My job is like, how much do I have to stay true and how much do I have to sell my soul?
My greatest struggle is roller coasters. Overcoming is riding the worst roller coaster in the amusement park and overcome my fear.
I teach special ed, so I feel the most gratified when I'm helping someone be the best person that they can be. I'm pretty content where I am, you know, I don't make crazy money, I don't live in the nicest place, but I love what I do, I love the people I'm helping, I love the people who work with me, yeah.
Is an elderly client of mine that her son, who's now in his 50s, came out as transsexual. And, you know, I feel like I've heard just about everything, but that was a big one. And I was inspired by a mother's love.
Well, I'm pregnant, so I feel like the baby that I'm gonna have inspires me to get out of this situation. And even though the dad isn't in my life, I feel like the baby probably has saved mine.
I'm a poet and a university professor, sound poetry, visual poetry, performance poetry. Take me easy, I'm a humble guy. Just keep on taking me easy, don't wonder why. I've known the ceiling above the sky. I know I'm easy and severely shy. I've known the pavement below the hell that all the sufferings lead to the end. Let me have you these easy rhymes as dream of a statue who's going to die.
Small L'Oreal logo at the end leads employees internally to the same question I asked you before. And oh boy, the answers that we get, I'm not going to read this one, it's probably one of my favorites, one of our marketing directors in the London office. But what we do with all of those answers, we create beautiful mashups of sound and image. Here is an example. If you could write an email to your childhood self, what would it be?
Well, if I was writing an email to my childhood self, first of all, I would tell him, hey, you're the first person to ever receive an email, so you better copyright this and figure out a way to get your name on it. But no, really, I think what I would say to my childhood self is that the world is going to be changing very rapidly. And kind of when I was a child, the world was changing at a much slower pace, and now it's completely different and unrecognizable from kind of the way it was before. So I think a long time ago we had more of a tendency to feel like what things look like today is the way it'll look like tomorrow, and same thing a year from now, and that was the case back then. But now we're in a state where every day there's something new, and every day there's something new to learn. So I would tell them to really be excited for what's coming up in the future.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course.
And our story continues with a lovely quote from Vladimir Nabokov, 1964, basically expressing the need for a graphical sign which will represent a smile. Hashtag Generation X smile. Hashtag Generation Y smile. Hashtag Snap Generation Z smile. So when the awesome Tristan came to me a few days before the 1st of April, Tristan is in my team, he came with this crazy idea. We said that, okay, it's April Fool's, let's just test and learn. So this year, we announced on April 1st that we only accept for 2 days CVs which are limited to 140 emojis. And since an emoji is one word, or sometimes even more, you can actually express quite a lot. This example is a mobile designer who is working for a beauty company, working on augmented reality makeup apps, which is and the guy is pretty cultural. The article went to the roof, getting a few dozens of thousands of clicks, and we said that we are onto something here. So since we're pretty agile and quick in the team, we continue. This page launched internally. We asked our employees, how would you describe L'Oréal in emojis? So, and again, you get some pretty awesome answers. Here's another one. And we don't do this just for fun. We actually look at the data extremely carefully. So here's a specific function within the organization, the top emojis. So you see that we're pretty multicultural, really like to have fun. And then, if we can do this internally, why the hell we cannot do this externally? So the answer is yes, we can. So this is being launched externally. Describe your dream job in emojis. And you get some really cool jobs. Here's one. And here's another one. We get a lot of those. But then, again, we look at the data extremely carefully. So, in the same way that LinkedIn presents Talent Trends 2015, I'm proud to present the L'Oréal Talent Trends 2015 in emojis. Here are the top 5 emojis by language and by country. So you see that some countries are really competitive. Everyone wants to see the world. Everyone wants to see the world. This is really, really interesting. The usage of the bulb, so in some cases, innovation is really interesting, and the usage of the bulb is extremely interesting, but that's another story. But once you have this data by country, by language, by function, by seniority, and even by company, you can learn quite a lot of things. So it's becoming extremely interesting to analyze those emojis. And yes, like someone says, we have a lot of data translated to some insights, because we can have a lot of data. If we don't know what to do with it, there's no point. And we continue to take it up to the next level, because we can ask questions like this. And this is another example from one of our employees, which is probably my favorite one. I'm going to read this one. So, Irene, I know that you are watching. August 2015, although I'm all grown up after about 15 years, I went on holidays with my dad, having your father to wake you up every morning with a kiss. Priceless. And when you have coders, which are also designers in the team, Michael, I salute you from this stage. You can do some pretty cool stuff. I would not use the word, well, I can use cool shit, because everyone is using the word shit in the last. So, day number 2, main lessons learned, shit. Okay, so this summer I was in Iceland. It's a really, really, really beautiful place. It's one of the few places in the world you can actually wear sunglasses at midnight because of midnight sun. I'm going to choose a place. I'm going to choose Dettifoss Falls. It's really, really beautiful because you can get into the waterfall and hop. Let's recall a memory from Iceland. Let's relive the experience inside the waterfall. And what happened just now? I created, or I relived a memorable experience. My last example is probably the favorite one, and we really like the games between offline and online at L'Oréal. So imagine that you are invited to an interview at L'Oréal. When you are not too far from the office, you are getting already some personalized content, a welcome message. When you're waiting at the entrance, you get some instructions on where to go. You might get an information on the list of people you will meet and some personalized messages from recruiters, going back to the small things that count. But then let's kindly stop with the mock-ups and go inside the corridors. So thanks to connected objects or beacons, using iBeacon technology, and very soon, for the geeks in the crowd, Addiston from Google, those objects are personalizing the interview experience. So in the example that you see here, when a candidate is walking in the corridor, and he sees an ad from L'Oréal Paris on one of the walls, the ad, thanks to the connected object, actually send him personalized content with the latest digital campaign. This one, in the case, with Eva Longoria and John Legend, a pretty cool one. And then, when you enter the interview room, you feel a smell, an extremely strong one. You feel the smell of an Yves Saint Laurent men. And then again, thanks to a connected object, which is usually hidden inside the box here, it's just behind the box, we can ask personalized question of the smell, about the smell, but you can enter a really interesting, serious discussions with the candidate about brand heritage, about brand DNA. So you've seen that those objects are not changing the interview experience. They're actually completely revolutionizing it by giving context to physical objects, but we are also looking at how the candidates are dealing with ambiguity, which is extremely interesting, and we also ask questions about how to improve this app. And questions like this one, which I really like. How will you invent the future of beauty with or without emojis? Okay. So you might think, okay, they are doing emojis and shit and connected objects and stuff like this. Just in the last 3 months, more than 50,000 unique visitors have interacted with us on some of those landing pages that you have seen, and we have a lot of landing pages, a lot. Out of those, we have identified actually more than 5,000 profiles, and out of them, we have created an extremely strong pipeline of 500 candidates. And for Glenn in the room, we're also doing just-in-time recruitment with this. So, okay, it's nice to create pipelines, but we are doing just-in-time recruitment. There are already dozens of people in interviews at L'Oréal because of this, and we already have hires. So what's the source of hire? An emoji. What's the cost of hire? We know. Cost of campaign? We know. ROI is calculated and clearly. So at the end, we don't forget the creativity and the romanticism in one side. On the other side, we look at the data extremely carefully, trying to achieve sustainable results. And if you don't believe me yet, here is 3 more cycles. The first one is the one that I started with, 1942, 2015. It's a cyclical pattern. Back then, it was crossword puzzles. Now it's emojis. Some other companies are doing some really, really cool stuff. So it's all the same. It's really, really a cyclical pattern. And let's get inside Elevate, which is an extremely interesting cycle in itself. So what's going on here? I'm going to go here. All right. I get a notification from the app that one of my colleagues have shared his vacation moment. It's an external trigger because I get the notification, but it's also an internal trigger to get into the app. I want to see what my colleague's vacation looks like. I enter inside. I might share his moment. I might create my own. So I'm doing some kind of action. So trigger, action. In this case, it's Marcella in our team, which created a lovely, lovely holiday moment in Brazil. And then at the end, she gets some kind of reward because she's recalling the experience from the holiday. The same as my Iceland example. And at the end, she might share this moment with some other colleagues on LinkedIn or elsewhere. Another cyclical pattern, a really cool book called Hooked. Trigger, action, reward, investment. Don't share content just for the sake of sharing content. Share content which is creating habits of memorable experiences. And the last cycle, if you wish, the classic loyalty loop. I got a recommendation on a product, word of mouth, recommendation algorithm. I might consider the product. I go to the product page. I'm looking at reviews, at tutorials. Then I might try the product. I'm going to use a sample. And if I like the product, I'm going to buy the product. And if the quality is awesome, maybe I'm going to become an advocate of that product. And the cycles continue. So I know that in this era, it's not a cycle anymore. It's like a big, big mashup because it's all around going offline and online. But if you think about it, isn't it the same with candidates? Someone have seen an emoji moment from L'Oreal or my Iceland moment. Then he looks, that's L'Oreal. Yes, that's L'Oreal. Then he might go from this moment to the L'Oreal company page on LinkedIn. He's going to evaluate us, look at our jobs. Then he might apply or apply for an internship. And then if he liked, he will join as an employee, continue the cycle from the inside, sharing his own holiday moment. So yes, it's all about cycles. For the last part of the presentation, I actually have one more thing. Actually, 2. The first one is a simple thank you. So, Frédéric, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Guillaume, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Tristan, you are incredibly awesome. Thank you, Marcella, Sin, Astrid, Karine, and the amazing, amazing Stefania. Thank you to Give, Nilesh, and Gabriele. Thank you again, Michael, Stefan. I salute you from this stage, the Munich team, Wolfgang and Robert. And now, David Ayas, thank you for taking the L'Oreal LinkedIn relationship to whole new heights this year. Thank you, Romulus, for bearing me with my crazy job wrapping requests. Thank you to the media team. Nicolas Blanc, Cathy, a kiss from LA. Thank you to Lucille, and also to Lucille and Juliette, sorry. Thank you also to the amazing Dublin support team. Sarah, especially, you are amazing. Thank you also to the Dublin Insights team, and Guillaume Dufour, you have become my new best friend. And now to the Mountain View and San Francisco teams. So, Danielle Bourque, you are the best product marketing manager a client can ever have. Jordan Levy, thank you very much. Thank you also to Chris and Peter for bearing with our crazy ideas. I would like to call Frederic back on stage.
Amazing. I'm happy and lucky to work with him, though he thinks he's lucky and happy to have me, so we are both happy. You might think we are 100% nuts, totally crazy. Do you think we're crazy? Yeah, raise your hand if you think we're crazy. Okay, well, I don't have enough hands up, so I want the video, please, because I don't have a clicker anymore. Okay. Can we have the video? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to ask the same question again. Who in this room think we are crazy? Raise your hands. Okay, that's much better. I'm happy when people think we are crazy nuts because we're trying to do new things every day. Well, this guy is the craziest guy in my team, so I leave you the words for the end of this presentation.
If I want you to take 3 things out of the last few minutes. 1, it's all about creating habits of memorable experiences. Even though there is talent acquisition in my title, it's not about talent acquisition. It's not about employee engagement. It's not about employer branding. It's about creating habits of memorable experiences. 2, customer, candidate, employee, they are all the same for LinkedIn, marketing solutions and talent solutions are the same. And I'm going to end with this quote from a Nobel Prize winner in economics, Daniel Kahneman. We do not choose between experiences. We choose between memories of experiences. Even when we think about the future, we do not think of our future normally as in the experience. We think the future of our anticipated memories. Thank you very much.